Hello there.
Hello
Today
there.
we're going to be talking. As you can see, the person to my right is not Josh. This is Lee. Your disguise will not work. Your glasses have failed.
I tried to pull a Superman, but it was
That's
me
right.
all along.
That's right. So Josh is in the middle of a move, so we have a special guest, Lee from This Crits. We're going to have all his information down in the video description and probably the pinned comment. Who knows? So you got to check both. But in this video, we're going to be talking about great level 3 spells where your modifier, your spellcasting modifier, doesn't matter. That's right. Just like all of the arguments trying to convince me that Lee is not Irish, your modifier doesn't matter for each of these spells. So stick around. We've got a fun one for you.
I shouldn't have gone to college.
Before we continue, in no way does JNJtabletop necessarily endorse or not endorse the attendance of college. That being said, I want to say that these level 3 spells, and why are we looking at these kinds of spells where your modifier doesn't matter? Well, sometimes people enjoy different ways of building their character, right? Like sometimes you could have a weird story-driven reason for multi-classing into a class that doesn't necessarily utilize that 13 charisma that you picked up a warlock level in or something like that. Or maybe you just want to be weird, so you want to make an effective character that doesn't do anything like right. You know, that's kind of the thing. So let's just do this like a fantasy football draft, Lee. And for all of you people who have no idea what that is, that's where we just take turns and pick.
I was hoping you explained that.
So Lee, with the first pick of our list, which spell are you picking?
Well, Jake, this spell is more hopeful than my outlook on life, seeming as how I don't have a college degree. That would be Beacon of Hope.
Yes.
Beacon of Hope's one of my favorite third level spells, and I think it's probably one of my most controversial favorites as well, seeming as how everyone's very much tends to be in the whole min-maxy of avoid taking damage. For those of you who don't know, Beacon of Hope effectively maximizes any healing that anyone in a certain radius does. So if you have Beacon of Hope being concentrated upon, and I cast Healing Word on, well, I would never heal Jay. If I cast Healing Word on Josh or someone else, it would max the healing done for that. And I think that's just bananas powerful.
It's also good for, I mean, saving throws. You get advantage on wisdom saves and death saving throws. So if things are really bad, you might not die because Beacon of Hope is active. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I always forget about that second effect, which is arguably the more important effect.
Well, healing in D&D 5e, I feel like a lot of times when people think of playing a healer, they envision keeping everybody kind of topped up, and it really doesn't work that way. So this is good. I'm going to actually deviate from our plan because I was going to pick a different spell next, but because you talked about maximizing healing, I'm going to take Aura of Vitality as my first pick.
My list!
I ruined all of your plans. This is why we really do. Well, we don't script our videos. So you cast the spell as an action, but then as a bonus action, as long as you're concentrating on the spell for a whole minute, which is 10 rounds, you can use a bonus action to heal 2d6 hit points to anyone within 30 feet of you. So if you have Beacon of Hope up, it's just like, here's 12, here's 12, here's 12 every round. Boom. Right? I mean, Healing Word is great. If you watch our Action Economy series, we talk about bonus actions and different ways you can just like break the game. This video is very different. But if you want to break the game, you know, this is a way you could do it. And just every round you could top someone up or just kind of, you know, almost like a damage soak.
I think the part that I love about Aura of Vitality, because it was on my list too when you initially sent your list over. One thing I talk about on my channel a lot is effective use of your bonus actions. And Aura of Vitality, you know, it's effectively a free 2d6 every round as long as you don't lose concentration, which is insane. You know, that's a heat metal, but healing instead, effectively, right? It's crazy.
True. And every round, just turn that bonus action. And really, if you talk about like keeping score, hit points is kind of like one of the scores you keep, right? Yeah. If you get points back, you take points away. It's just good.
It's definitely in my top 5 spells on the list that we're talking about today. Third level spells are always difficult, but I'm glad you narrowed it down for me because there's a lot.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so now that I've messed up all of your plans, I guess I'm the player and you're the DM. What's your next pick?
Plant growth. Plant Growth. We're going Plant
Ooh.
Growth. The best.
Yes.
I talk about this spell at least once a month. I talk about this spell. I'm not even kidding either.
I mean, it is good. What does it do?
It makes a very large radius of overgrown plants that makes moving difficult. It's 100-foot radius, which for those people out there that don't know, is a 200-foot diameter, which also for those of you who don't know, is about the wingspan of a Boeing 777. So it's a big area.
Very big. Big
Yeah.
is good. Bigger is better.
Not always, but
Well, if you know how to use it, it's very good.
yeah, what I really like about this spell is, and this is one of my little things, because I'm generally not the kind of person to min-max D&D, right? I like to play D&D to have fun and enjoy myself, tell a fun story. If something's really powerful, it's really powerful, whatever. But one thing I really like about Plant Growth, and people argue this point back and forth all the time, is that Plant Growth is effectively an 80% movement speed reduction of anyone within it.
That's
strong. A lot.
Yes.
But it does not specifically state it is difficult terrain.
Yes, it can stack.
Well, it's up in the air.
Stack
because... Yes, exactly.
I'm pro stack it. I'm landing hard on that pro stack it.
Yep, I'm pulling out my alphabet building blocks and stacking them up high. I'm all for that. So, but yeah, that's I just love this spell. It's so damn good.
It's a great control spell. I think it's a fantastic choice if you want to have the ability to, like we talk about it in our Action Economy series with movement, if you're able to make the enemy burn their action dashing or trying, like, because that's not an action that's attacking you or casting a spell or whatever they might be able to do. That's a fantastic pick, and I love it.
Haha, you can't get out. If you place that on the center of an enemy, they're not getting out of there for like 5 turns.
Unless they use my next pick.
Oh, now we're going back in order.
Yeah, well, this is the one I'm choosing for now, and that is Fly.
Yep.
Fly is fantastic. Not only can you evade plant growth by just flying above it, one thing that people, I think, kind of forget about it is it's not, it doesn't just take your movement speed and make it a fly speed. It's 60 feet.
Yeah.
So dashing, all of a sudden, you might be dashing through the snow or plant growth in a beat up Chevrolet. Anyways, finish that jingle in the comment section, and maybe while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and the bell for more cheesy videos and jokes like this. But you gain a flying speed for 60 feet as long as you're concentrating, or the spellcaster is concentrating on the spell, up to 10 minutes. That's great for getaways. That's great for getting in position, evading weird things the DM has at your, on the battlefield to just mess up your movement and your plans, because I tell you, this is a nice one. This is a really nice one. And if you upcast it, you can actually cast it on multiple creatures too, which is a nice little bonus.
Yeah, this is another one that was on both of our lists. Although it wasn't going to be on my top 3 of my list, but it was definitely on my list. And I completely, like you mentioned, I totally forgot that it's just a flat 60 fly speed, not your movement speed. It's
great. We recently, in an episode of Ancient Relics and Hoki Religions that hasn't aired yet, spoiler alert.
Spoilers. Oh, man.
We cast Fly on Echo, who's a monk. It was just beautiful. He caused all sorts of chaos because of it. It was great.
The word. Okay, side note, funny story, talking about that. I had the same exact thing, a monk, Fly, fighting an ancient white dragon in the air.
Yes.
But monk had Sentinel. Rules don't say anything about anything, so if a monk hits a dragon that's flying away from it, dragon can't move no more. Because, and you know what? Oops.
That's great.
No, it's stupid. I changed the rule afterwards.
Is that what inspired your Sentinel is stupid video?
Yes, that is what inspired it.
If you're watching this, you have to watch that video. It was fantastic. I was like so crying, laughing, watching it.
Ancient white dragon, itty bitty monk. You're not going anywhere.
Yes.
Ow. I don't want to move anymore.
Yep. Hey man, that's the rules. All right, so I chose Fly. I know I'm going out of order, but what's your last pick?
Spirit Shroud, baby.
Spirit Shroud, another controversial pick. Tell me, why did you pick?
I really, really, really enjoy lockdown effects. Effects that prevent enemies from doing things. And the easiest and simplest way of doing that is restricting movement speed. Simple as that. But Spirit Shroud is really cool. But it's a little bit difficult because it is only, I think it's a 10-foot radius somewhere. I don't have it on here. I know it by memory. I'm not looking at it. I swear to God.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a 10-foot radius around you that deals extra damage when you hit with an attack of a D8 or higher if you upcast it, which is nice. Extra damage is always fantastic, but it doesn't provide difficult terrain or do anything else with the movement speed, but it actually reduces the amount of movement speed a creature has.
Yes, okay.
Which is fantastic because it's another one that stacks upon difficult terrain or plant growth effects like that. Anything that reduces overall movement speed is so much more valuable in my mind than other movement reductions because it stacks and works with everything regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of any time you could do that. If someone starts their turn in there and then you smack them with a Ray of Frost too.
Yes!
It's like,
you're not going anywhere!
And we'll just throw plant growth on you too while we're at it.
Okay, ready? Here's this. If you pop a plant growth on your paladin or cleric or whoever's using this spell and they have Spirit Shroud up, they can move 5 feet. That enemy can move 5 feet.
I just thought about this. Pair this with casting freedom of movement on someone. You want to talk about owning the battlefield.
Yep.
That is huge.
Or just fly over him, punching down.
Yeah, you can do that. That works too. We're talking about locking down movement, which I'm seeing a theme in your picks.
Yep.
Where mine, I feel like, are a little bit more in the buffing and utility lane here. And I'm going to continue that trend with my last pick. I'm going to choose Sending. Now, this is hard for me because I was thinking of maybe taking Revivify, which I guess would have been an honorable mention.
Yeah.
But with Sending, I feel like, number one, it's more fun. Number two, it gets used more often. Number three, it's like, should we use Sending now? Should we not? I mean, you could send a short 25-word message to a creature that you're familiar with, which that's a nice little thing. It doesn't necessarily say you met them. You're familiar with them. Yep. Oh, I'm going to send a message to your mom. Tell her where to meet me later. It's like,
Mr. President, Mr. President.
That's what I mean. Like, how are you going to define that? I would love to know how you would define that in the comment section. But I think it's really interesting to be able to mobilize and communicate with important NPCs. Even if they're on another plane of existence, there's literally only a 5% chance of it failing. And in case you're not great with math or math rocks, that's rolling a natural 1. That's the only time that makes that fail.
Or a natural 20, however you look at it.
Yeah, you could do
glass
it
half empty, glass half full.
Exactly. But I think Sending is great. It's a lot of fun, and I think it's something that you should really consider if you got some weird build where you're like, I don't have a great charisma and I'm a warlock, or that's not on the warlock list. I'm a wizard. I'm a bard. Whatever it is.
Sending is one of those spells for me that it's always a must-have. You have to pick it up. And as a DM, I actually fall into this a lot. I try to give my players access to Sending so it doesn't have to take a spell slot.
Good choice, yeah.
Because it's so game-changing, and it's just in my live stream game and Behold This Crypt, they didn't get Sending until level, I want to say 14, because they just took other spells.
Sure.
And they were miserable. They were always in the dark with what's going on. And it was almost, it actually shaped a lot of their decisions because they didn't know what was going on or where they should be going or what's going on in, their hometown or stuff like that. Yeah. The spell's almost necessary for a good narrative.
I love it because, number one, as the DM, I don't know if you're doing this on purpose, but you're almost like dangling, like, hey, split the party. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, all the time.
Like, I picked you off, you lone wolf over here.
I do that all the time.
But it's interesting you bring that up, and a lot of my honorable mentions and things we kind of discussed off camera involve divination spells, like say clairvoyance or something like that. This is technically evocation, but just sometimes spells that just get or disseminate information. Don't underestimate that, especially as a villain. Especially as a villain. If you're a dungeon master, that's great. But Lee, I just want to say thank you so much for participating in this video while Josh is busy.
Thanks, I hated
it. Well, I didn't enjoy. I'm thanking you out of obligation. But where else can people find you and your content? Because I want to make sure that if you're watching this video, you go follow him.
Yeah, I'm at This Crits on YouTube. You can check it out there. And Twitter, I think it's This Crits as well. One or Crit. I don't know if it's plural on Twitter. Honestly, who knows? Just look up This Crits and you'll find me somewhere.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for watching. We want to hear all of the selections that we messed up and you would have chosen if you were making this video. And yeah, tell us about a weird character you built making spells and doing spells like this. So thank you so much for watching. Take care, everyone.